friends. It was very kind of Dr. Dorothy Baker to invite me to share with you this joyous occasion. As soon as I received her invitation, which was awaiting my return from my tour in Europe and America and Australia, I immediately wrote back to say that I heartily accept this invitation. I felt a sort of kinship with colleges of social work, like other institutions of similar kinds, like medical colleges, nursing colleges and schools, etc. Because in all these institutions, there is this stress on service of man. That is a great point of kinship. This is the first time I am coming to this College of Social Work, but I have been very close to several other colleges of social work, like the Delhi School of Social Work, Tata Institute of Social Work, Baroda University School of Social Work. I have always felt drawn to men and women who are being trained to serve society. This kind of professional social work is a modern phenomenon. Up to 1850 AD, even in Europe and America, there was no such thing as professional social work. People did work for society out of a sense of human concern. But due to the industrial age in which we live, so many new problems have arisen, and there was need for a cadre of professional social workers, and that means special training. That's how in the modern period you find, along with many other branches in our educational system, this particular branch has come up, social work. Students being trained to do that social work, because things have become so specialized, problems have become so complicated, we can't do social work just merely as a human impulse. We need training. So in this modern period, you find these institutions coming up. Parallel to the institutions coming up, problems also multiply in society. At present you can see one is chasing the other. You send out social workers and you find problems increasing all the time in society. A never-ending chasing, as it were. This professional training in social work has a great advantage because there is knowledge, technical competence given to us through that training. But in all professional work, there is always a tendency to lose the human touch, even in administration, business, medicine, nursing, and this kind of social work. When the professional competence comes in, the other competence goes away, the human concern. And we are seeing it increasingly today, that fields of work where the most important thing is the human concern, they begin to lose that human concern. And we see in this modern period how the only motivation for work in many fields of work is money, money, and money. We call it today the profit motive. Industry, business, medical services, administration, every department is dominated by this profit motive. And the more the profit motive, the less becomes the human motive. And we are passing through that period today. All over India and all over the world, this is the disease of modern civilization. This has to be tackled. In the papers you read every now and then how people become corrupt by sheer profit motive. All other finer sentiments are washed away. Even just 2 days ago, you read in the newspapers, eminent surgeons in Germany stealing the pacemakers from the dead bodies of people, very highly qualified people. There is no question of condemning A, B or C in this matter. We are living in an age where too much of the profit motive has come, too little of non-profit motives have become apparent. In this particular field of social work, you need very much that human motivation. What Dorothy Baker said in her opening speech, welcome speech, we do train the mind or the intellect, but we need the heart. What is the nature of that heart? People do use the word heart. What does it really mean? I know for certain that if people come to know what it means, more people will try to develop in that direction. But we do not know much about it. But it is good for us to know. And particularly students who come to these kind of courses like social work, nursing, medical services, etc. Because in all these areas, you are directly in touch with a human being. How do you react to a human situation? That's the most important question in all education. Our subject given to me this evening is education, ethics, and social values. Our education is becoming more and more dry, mechanical. It is bereft of the human motive. That's why there is so much of suffering around us. Always there will be suffering. When you have got a human body, often you have to suffer. This mind and the sensory system also constantly have their ups and downs. But what makes life in society a satisfaction and a joy is that you feel you are a man among men. You get a human touch. You can always find somebody who will come to console you, to help you. You feel encouraged thereby. That is why, even though we cannot eliminate all suffering from society, but once there is that human impulse generated and radiated into society, you feel life is still bearable. Life becomes enjoyable. Take that human impulse away, life becomes absolutely drab, meaningless. More and more people today are experiencing this inner privation. Along with that privation comes the distortion of the human psyche, tremendous distortions of the human psyche. For want of getting a little love from people, people become distorted very much. Not only little babies, not only little children, they do need so much of love in their early years. If they don't get it, they become distorted. What are these delinquents today all over society? Because children never got that human touch. But even in later age, people suffer so much today from this privation of that human touch. Our country is having quite a good number of people who have not got that human touch and they are suffering. Ours is what is called a developing society in which millions and millions are undeveloped. They have not got even the human status yet. But Other societies are quite different. They have plenty to eat and drink, and yet there again the same problem, the same privation, want of love from other human beings, and strangely incapacity in oneself to show love to others. There's a dryness of the human system. Great sociologists have spoken about it with great sorrow. One of the outstanding sociologists was the late Peterin Sorokin of the Harvard University. A second great thinker in the same line was the late Bertrand Russell. Both of them have spoken that such a fine civilization, yet men and women are unhappy. What shall we do for it? Then comes the answer. There's only one remedy, one simple remedy. We can make this world fine. And what is that? I'm using the language of Sorokin. How to increase altruism in the human heart. If that is done, this world will be a beautiful world to live in. But Russell spoke of having a little love in the heart of man. A little Christian love, he called it. He himself was not a Christian, was an agnostic, but in the post-war period, he had used this word, a little Christian love in the heart of man. Then this world will be a beautiful world to live in. In our country today, the same story, much more serious than anywhere else, where 300 million people live below the poverty line, not only poverty line, below the human line. We are all living there. We have our education here. We live comfortable lives, quite a good number of people, and the whole country is suffering today. How to increase love in the heart of men and women? People sitting in the secretariat, they become wooden. They have no response to the human situation. How many papers are lying untouched? Files untouched. Every file tells the story of some suffering here, some suffering there. I am handling that file. It is a dead file. And if I am also dead behind it, how can government move? Today, all over India, this is a serious problem. The men behind the table must be living men and women. How can you make them alive? What's the nature of that life? When I was a young student, I read a beautiful sentence from Swami Vivekananda's letters from America to workers in India. That impression that I got from my young days has remained always with me. None lives except he who lives for others. The rest are more dead than alive. What a powerful sentiment. Physically alive we are, but there is not physical life only for man. Where is that humanity in you? That question we have to answer today. How to make us truly human? As was said by probably Victor Hugo, we are not men. We are only candidates to humanity. And education is to make you really a human being. What a beautiful concept of education. If only I strengthen my brain, make it sharp, do I become educated? Not at all. I become a crook. Today, education turns out more crooks than human beings. The greatest quality that you can have is that humanistic impulse. In fact, I consider this humanism and the humanistic impulse as the most important contribution to humanity today from two great cultural sources. One is our own ancient Indian cultural tradition. Second is the modern Western tradition. The West has given us two things, modern science and humanism. We hardly go in for either humanism or even science. We may do science to get a degree, but the scientific mind, scientific thinking is largely absent, given the passion, prejudice, frenzy, unthinking, and yet we may have a degree in science as well. Only shows we have not assimilated the spirit of the modern Western culture. the scientific attitude, and the tremendous humanistic impulse. So also in the ancient tradition of India, a Buddha, what was his greatness? Infinite compassion. What a wonderful idea. Karuna is a great term. The heart has grown. It has expanded. We have Ramakrishna, Vivekananda in our time. In that political field, we had a Mahatma Gandhi. What beautiful personalities. A Gandhi who said, my mission is to wipe every tear from every eye. You have the spirit of humanism in that great utterance. Should not our education inspire our children with this tremendous humanistic impulse? Let us teach them how to think clearly, how to think pointedly, how to have a trained mind. That is what science can give. Along with it, a tremendous human impulse. Combine these two, you have the best of education. We don't have it today. Neither clear thinking, nor that humanistic impulse. Both together can create a heaven in this country which is near hell, so far as present conditions go. So that in education, this beautiful idea, a girl or a boy growing beyond her organic dimension. When I speak of the humanistic impulse, I speak of a key factor in all human life, a key factor in all education, namely expansion of sympathy, expansion of personality, man growing beyond the organic dimension. That's a beautiful concept. Can you therefore define education and also religion as the science of human growth? It will be a great day when our education realizes this truth. Education is the science of human growth, but a growth not confined merely to this body, not merely confined to this brain, but the entire personality, the emotions and the feelings, the entire growth, a threefold growth: physical, intellectual, spiritual. What a beautiful conception. The spiritual growth of man. Have you grown spiritually? What does it mean? We are afraid of the word spiritual, the word religious, because we think it means some static piety. No, there is a growth of man beyond his organic limitation. When you have sympathy for others, when you show compassion to others, when you engage yourself in service of other people, what has happened to you? You have grown beyond your organic limitation. Physically, I am limited within the system. My physical valuation will be 140 pounds. That's all I can grow. Somebody may grow 200, but he grows 300, it is dangerous.